Hi guys, welcome back to Hope's Instant Kitchen. It's been quite some time since I have posted a new video, but you know how life is. So here we are. I am going to start making some more videos here in the future. So I've got this new instant precision Dutch oven that just came in today, and I'm going to unbox this, and I'm also going to try to make some bread in the Dutch oven because I have seen different videos on YouTube where people are making bread in here. Now I will have to use the stove also, but this inner pot is safe to use, I believe, on the stovetop and inside the oven. So what we're going to do is unbox this. I'm going to go ahead and move the box down to the floor so I can have some space here because, as we know, my Instant Pots are all over my countertops, and so we have to work with what we've got. All right, so I have moved the box down to the floor to make it easier here. And this is the one with the red top on it. There's also one that has a blue top and one that comes with a black top. But I wanted the red because that matches my kitchen better. So get this open. And here we have some paperwork. Let's see what's inside of here. It just says Discover Amazing. Gives you all of the social media for Instant Pot. We have a getting started guide. Safety warnings here. And Discover Amazing. Some recipes, so definitely take a look through this later and see what all they have here. Dinner rolls. Those do look pretty good. So I'll have to check this out later on, but let's get into what else is in the box. Alright, so right here on top we have our lid. So this is a enamel cast iron lid. And by the way, this box was heavy. When I brought it in, I noticed it was heavier than just like a regular Instant Pot. So this is going to be a little bit heavy. So that's what the lid looks like on the underside. So this is the lid. I'm going to set this out of the way so I can bring the base and the pot out on my stovetop here. Under the other piece of foam there, we have our actual inner pot, and it's also extremely heavy. So there is what the inside of the pot looks like. It comes with these little silicone grippers for your handles, as well as this hot pad to put on your countertop or your table, so that if you just use this pot on your table or your countertop, it's not going to do any damage from the heat. And last but not least, we have our base here. Alright, this is what the base looks like, and normally Instant puts some type of protective film on here, so I'm not sure if they did or not on this one. But on all the Instant Pots, there's normally a piece of protective film on the screen, so I'll have to check. I don't want to tear anything up. So you'll need to remove this plastic piece from the prong, and then there's a little like bread tie around the cord, which will just have to be untwisted before use. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use the bread recipe. I've seen several on YouTube as well, but there is one that comes in this recipe book that I saw. So here it is. I think I will try this out. It is going to take a little while to make because we have to make the dough and then let it sit and rest for a period of time for the dough to rise. But we will get into that in just a moment. Most importantly, before use, we need to wash out the pot as well as the lid. We're just going to clean this out with some warm water and some dish soap. And I'm also just going to wipe this inside out with a dry cloth. I'm not going to put any water in here because it's electrical. And I'm just going to clean off the underside of the lid as well, just because it was in the box. And of course you want to clean anything before you use it to cook with. Alright, so as you can see, I'm just using my little Dawn dish brush here to just clean out the inside. Obviously there's nothing in here that's stuck because I have not used it yet. So we're just basically wiping it down before we use it, as well as the lid. I have already just wiped out the base with a dry towel because I just want to make sure there's no debris in there before I use it. So this is it. And we're just going to rinse this. It does say that the inner pot and the lid are dishwasher safe, but it's recommended to hand wash these because over time the dishwasher will break down the coating, and also it can change the look of your pot. So it's recommended to do a hand wash. And I don't throw any of my Ninja or Instant pot items into the dishwasher anyway. Everything is hand washed. It just makes it last longer, and it only takes a second to hand wash. So there's that. So I'm just going to rinse this out, dry it out really well. Alright, we're all rinsed and dried completely. And I want to say I just love how the bright red complements my kitchen. I do have a lot of red and gray in my kitchen, so that's why I went with the red one. But again, they also have a black and a blue lid as well. Alright, we're going to get started on this bread. So over here in the booklet, it has the ingredients that we will need, and also the prep time. As you can see, the total time is going to take 3 hours to make. So I will show you the end product when we're done. So we're going to need to get these ingredients together. I'm also going to need some parchment paper. And at the end we should have something like this. Alright, so I have here all of the ingredients it's calling for. It's calling for some yeast, some salt. I just have this pink salt, but you know, it should work just fine. Salt is salt. Cooking oil spray, flour, and distilled white vinegar. And I have a bowl here to mix everything together in. In the large bowl, we're going to get some, it also asks for 1 1/4 cup of room temperature water, so I'll have to get that in a minute. It's telling me to put the yeast and water in a bowl and let it sit for a minute. Then we're going to add to that the flour, salt, and vinegar. Then we're going to just mix it with a spoon until the dough starts to form. Then we'll mix it with our hands for a little bit. And then we are going to line our cooking pot over here with some parchment paper. Or, let's see, and spray it with the oil spray. We're going to put the dough in the center of the cooking pot and put the lid on. Alright, so all of the ingredients have been added to the bowl here, and I'm just going to start to mix this with the wooden spoon. Alright guys, we have our dough here in our paper inside the cooking pot. We're going to plug it in. Well, that's a different sound. And I looked, I did not see any protective covering on the screen, so I'm not sure. Maybe that's odd that they didn't put one on here, but they put one on all their instant products. Okay, so what we're going to do, okay, so don't want to mess anything up. So it says to select manual mode 1. Oh, first it says to place the lid on, so let me do that before I mess it up. Alright, lid is on. Now, it is saying to select manual mode. So here's the manual mode. We have manual mode, braise, sear, saute, and slow cook. Manual mode. And then set the temperature to 77 degrees for 1 hour and press start. So temperature, so we just spin this dial knob down here. We're going to go down to 77 degrees. Okay, so I guess you just press the manual, press the temp time button again to go to the time. So you want it to say 0100 and then hit start, and it says preheating. So it's saying that we're going to, so you set it for manual mode. You're going to set the temperature to 77 for 1 hour, press start. Once the cooking program has finished, we're going to use the excess parchment paper to carefully lift out the dough. We're then going to put the dough on a floured surface, so don't put the flour away yet, because we are going to have to flour either a cutting board or the counter. Surface we're going to knead by hand for 1 minute. After kneading, we're going to shape it into a ball and grab the parchment paper by the corners and lower it back into the cooking pot. Put the lid back on and select the manual mode 1. We're going to put the temperature back on 77 degrees for 1 hour and hit start. And then once that cooking time is done, we're going to heat up the oven to 425. And we're going to cook it for 30 minutes with the lid on. Then after 30 minutes, we're going to remove the lid and go for an additional 25 minutes. So it does take a while to get this done. And then it says, let the bread cool on a wire rack before serving. So this is a labor of love. I mean, even with an instant appliance, it's still going to take a while to make bread. So this is something that I would probably do on a weekend just because of how long it takes. There's not a lot of work involved. It only takes a minute to get the dough actually ready and in the pot. So I guess where it says M1 cooking, that's how you know it's in manual mode 1. All right, guys, so our 70-minute cook time has passed, and then we had to go for another 70 minutes. So this is what we're looking like so far. So I decided to take the paper out after I removed the dough the first time around, and I just put some olive oil in and wiped it around with a cloth to get a thin layer of olive oil, and then I put some flour in the bottom before I put the dough back in. So now our oven is preheated to 425, and the directions state that we are to bake this in the oven at 425 with the lid on, and then after the 30 minutes is up, we remove it using these silicone holders, and we will bake it for an additional 25 minutes without the lid on. So I'm going to go ahead and place this in the oven on the middle rack and let it go for 30 minutes. Alright guys, so the bread has baked in the oven, in this Dutch oven, for 30 minutes with the lid on and 25 with it off at 425 degrees, just as the directions said. It's not the prettiest bread in the world, but it was my first attempt, so I'm going to remove this from the cast iron Dutch oven using a spatula, just a silicone one like this, so we don't scratch anything up. And I'm going to put it on a wire rack and let it cool for about 10 minutes before I cut into it. So I appreciate you watching this video and hanging out with me, and look forward to more videos with this Dutch oven here soon. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.